What's up, MMA fans? It's Tudor Leonte from Sherdog here, and today I'm with PFL welterweight contender Rory MacDonald. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine as well. Thank you very much. Welcome back on Sherdog. So, my first question here is: what are you doing these days, and if you are going to take a bit of vacation?
Yeah, I took some time after the fight, and now I'm back into training camp now.
What have you done? In your
Oh
free time?
well, after the fight, I flew back to Canada, so I'm back home in Montreal with my family, and we took some time to enjoy. We had like 14 days of quarantine here because our province requires that, even though we had negative tests. And just getting back to training and getting ready for this fight.
I would like to discuss with you a bit about your results in the PFL this year. You first submitted Curtis Millender thanks to a beautiful first round rear naked choke submission. After that, you faced Gleison Tibau, but you had a 49-day break between the two fights. How was it having so little time to prepare for a fight at this point in your career?
Yeah, it was fine. I was fine with it. I didn't have any injuries and I've been healthy, so it was smooth sailing.
I'm asking since it appeared to me that not all the fighters, went on with having this time so little time between the fights. But I see that you did great, right?
Yeah, my fight with Gleison, I thought I did really well, even though I think that decision was a clear, robbery, probably for corrupt reasons. But you know what? It didn't change my spots moving forward in the tournament. So just focusing on this next fight because I got a tough guy ahead of me in Ray.
In the first round of the fight with Tibau, you almost finished your opponent with a rear naked choke. How tight was that submission attempt?
I don't think it was that tight, to be honest. It's hard to finish a choke back there. He's got a lot of muscle and not much of a neck, so it's hard to choke guys like that.
It looked like you were in control of the fight the whole time, but ultimately it ended with a split decision in favor of your opponent. I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think it was very clear that I won the fight. I feel, like I obviously won the fight. It's really no controversy there. It's just I think that we were fighting in a place where the commission is they do some shady things, and it happens sometimes, so it's unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen the decision overturned, but looking into it, it just seemed impossible. You would have to go to the commission whose fault it was, who's doing it was, and they would have to make it they'd have to do an investigation on themselves, and that's obviously not going to work. And we don't have any evidence of like solid evidence to make a case in court or anything. So it just there's really nothing we could do. It's just kind of one of those things that it sucks, but it feels good knowing that I got thousands and thousands of messages. I see comments on every post PFL does, or every post or interview about the fight. Fans just rip the comment section apart, like turn that decision around. Rory won, so it makes it feel better. Even though I've had fights in the past that were closer, that I've lost fights even though I thought I won. That happens. But this one was like, it was super obvious that I won all 3 rounds. So it feels good that the fans got my back a little bit, and they've been supporting me. So that's nice. That it's not just me who thinks I won; it's the vast majority. The 99% of people watched it agree with me.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I agree with you too. But even playing the devil's advocate, would you have scored around in favor of your opponent?
No, he didn't. He only like landed about 2 punches the whole fight, something like that. The rest were like I was covering up, blocking all his shots. So he really. Sorry, my son's.
No worries.
Hold on. My wife had to take more of the room. But yeah, anyway, I was blocking all the shots, or he was completely missing and punching air. So you can't give a round or score a victory for a guy just punching the air, based on aggression. I was very effective with my strike and accuracy and my takedowns, and I don't see any way he could have won even 1 round.
So, in your opinion, it had to do with the athletic commission being a little bit shady. But my question for you was, what could be done to improve the judges' criteria and avoid such controversial verdicts?
Like judges and commissions, they have no it has no effect on their life if they get to score a fight wrong, or if they take advantage of the system, for example, with the betting odds, or I don't know, like it's just my assumption that there's something shady going on because it was too obvious. There's just something that doesn't sit right, with everybody. So my assumption is that it was something crooked. But for scoring in MMA, that with like even closer fights that that are scored wrongly, these guys have no there's no consequences for them. It's just they go and they move on and they go to the next one. They don't get fired or anything like that. There's no backlash on their bad performance. But as fighters and even promoters and stuff like that, it has a serious effect on our future. And I think maybe there should be a system implied, I don't know exactly how, of some sort of justification of who gets to be judges. It can't just be anybody because you work for an athletic commission. You should have some credentials, some some kind of history to, like, if you're a fighter or a coach or you've been in the sport, or some kind of proof that you know what you're doing. And then also something in place where you're held responsible. If there's a very suspect scorecard, where if it goes against the community scoring, the commentator scoring, the public general opinion, there should be some sort of punishment, or some sort of thing that they have to face some kind of judgment on their bad decision. They can't just keep making terrible scores in the future and just have nothing bad happen because of it, and just continue doing a bad job. It's a strange thing that it's like And then a police officer.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Just 1 second. There is something off with your microphone. Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. That's better. That's better. No, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm following the you know your thoughts. They are pretty interesting, actually.
If you can't do your job properly, you can't keep your job, I guess is what I'm trying to say, you know?
Mm. Yes. Um, yes, that sometimes this stuff happens in MMA, and obviously we would like not to see it happen, but it is what it is, and it should be done something to avoid such situations for the future. But you are now scheduled to fight Ray Cooper III on August the 13th. Have you already started your training camp?
Yes, I have. I'm in training camp right now, and I think we're 4 or 5 weeks out from the fight. So I'll make sure that I'm in top shape.
Um, actually, you are one of the luckiest fighters in PFL, since they allowed you to return to Canada. I know that they asked all fighters to stay in the US for the competition. Is that correct, or was that just for the regular season?
I never heard too much about it, but I think the guys that are flying overseas, or places where the border could be a bit of an issue, they were asking guys to, I think they were helping guys figure out solutions so they could stay close by. I never got contacted about it, and I think it was like, they suggested it, but obviously they can't like keep you there if you have things to do. So my case, I had to go home for a couple of weeks, but heading back to Florida next Tuesday.
Yeah. Because I remember that the last time we spoke, you were in Florida, and I wanted to ask you right now, where are you going to do your training camp? If in Montreal or in Florida?
Well, I'm starting here in Montreal, and next week I'm gonna go down to Florida again and finish it up there.
Um, I know that there is a lot of time before the fight. What do you expect from your next opponent?
Well, he fights with a lot of passion, and he always brings the fight. So I don't see that changing. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's been calling me out since I got signed to PFL. He's been wanting to fight me and I think make a name for himself off of me. So I got to be ready for him to. He's going to be out there trying to put me away.
I like the past years. This time, the PFL dropped the one night tournament format. Was that something that you would have been interested in competing in?
The middleweight.
The one night tournament format. The previous years, before the quarter of finals and the semifinals took place in the same night, and a fighter had to fight twice. Was that something that would have been interested you?
Yeah. I was definitely interested in that. I've never done that in my career. Fight twice. I think that would be a hard thing to do, but it's definitely something that I would have been up for, just to test myself and see what that's like.
And in your opinion, who is going to win the second semifinal between Joao Zafirino and Magomed Kerimov?
Yeah, that's a tough fight. I think it's close. It's hard to say, really. They're both really good, and I actually don't know. I couldn't tell you who I think is going to win, but I think it'll be competitive.
Who would you like, to face in the final?
Either one. I have no preference, to be honest. One guy I'm happy to be fighting is Ray. I think he's got, he's got made a name for himself, and me beating him would be very recognizable in the sport. He won the last year. He's the champion, the reigning champion at PFL for the welterweights. So I was looking forward to compete with him.
Well, we sure have a hell of a fight ahead of us. Sir, before I let you go, do you have any last message?
No, not really.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck with your upcoming fight. Hopefully, I'll hear again from you before the final.
All right, thanks.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.